Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. This is Herr Cox coming to you with your first video lesson for your German 2 course. To begin with, I want to hope that this video finds you and your family in good health and good spirits. I know that we're in a different time than most of us are used to, but it's going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to be learning together. We're going to be doing some new things together. And so I certainly hope that you are um, ready and willing to take the challenge and to kind of be there with me and your other classmates and your other teachers as we go through this. So today's lesson, or I should say today's video, is going to be a little bit longer than it normally would be, but that's because I want to show you a few things on Moodle and some different things like that to kind of get you through the lesson. Okay, these videos each week are going to be probably no longer than 10 minutes, but this one's going to be a little bit longer because I've got a couple of things to do. Okay, so if there's any hiccups in this video, you'll have to excuse me. I'm learning just as you are on these types of things. I know how to operate these kinds of things, but recording myself and doing things like that is something kind of new. So let's get started with this one. So every week, let me shrink myself down. Every week on Sunday at 3 p.m. I will have posted to the German 2 Moodle page your lesson for that week. Okay, each week you're going to get one lesson from me. There may be multiple parts to that lesson, but you'll get one lesson. The lessons should take no longer than an hour to 2 hours. This one's going to be a little bit lengthy because we're still trying to kind of get a gauge for time and things like that. Okay, but you'll be getting lessons from me and your other teachers and things like that. This is how I'm going to deliver them. So every Sunday at 3 p.m. you're going to go to the Moodle page. And let me scroll down here for you. You're going to see this tab at the very top. It says Remote Learning. I've given you this box right here. These are some guidelines for what to do when you're studying at home, learning at home, how to set up an office and things like that. But more importantly, right underneath here, you will see my online office hours. Okay, I will be available here at Command Central from 10 a.m. to noon and from 1 to 3 every Monday through Thursday. I have an open office hour on Zoom. The link is right there. So if you click right there, it's going to take you directly to my office, my online office. I will be here at Command Central waiting for you guys. What I'm going to do is, of course, when you arrive, you'll just see my picture, but just you know, say hello, Herr Cox, or send me a message through Zoom or something like that, and I will pop on screen and start working with you guys. So any questions that you have over any of the lesson, you can come and ask me about those and those kinds of things. If there's something that you need to speak with me privately about, you guys can text me through Remind 101, or you can also send me a message through email or something like that. And of course, I can make sure that if you and I need to speak one-on-one, we can get that taken care of. Okay. But again, that's the most important thing, is how you can reach me every day, Monday through Thursday. I've also included this link, Invest to Learn. This is the NISD website for things that you can do to enrich your education and do things like that while we're in this digital kind of learning space. So take a look at those. There's some links in there specifically for German and stuff like that. So you should have plenty of options there for you. Okay, now the way that this is going to work, I haven't done this yet, but that's because I haven't uploaded the video. But what you will see each week underneath is, of course, you will see lesson plans for that week. Now, apparently I made a mistake. These two will be underneath the week, so pay attention to that one. You'll also see the link for the video, just like you're watching right now, for that one as well. Okay. So you'll see those things there. The lesson plans are Pretty much the same for on-level and pre-AP. Pre-AP, of course, I've bumped up a couple of your expectations and things like that, so pay attention to those. Each week, your lesson will more than likely be kind of a two-parter. The first part will be something to do with vocabulary. The second part will be dealing with grammar, so pay attention to those. The videos at the end, in the videos, I'll be giving you some explicit instructions on the grammar lesson and things like that, so pay attention to those. But everything that you need is located here. Now, you guys know how this works, especially with Quizlet. Remember that Quizlet I see on my end, but I need you to make sure you go through the flashcards, go through the learn, go through the spell. Make sure that you guys are working on that quiz. Here's the difference from what we've been doing in class to what we're going to do now. The Quizlet, remember, change those settings to where it's answering in German, doing multiple choice, but you only need to do 20 of the vocabulary terms. That's all that I need. So you don't have to set it to the max. If you want to, go ahead. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Same thing with the quiz that you have for the grammar portions. It's in Moodle, just like you guys are normally used to. Okay, so there's nothing that you have to physically submit to me for this. Now, the exception to that is that if you're having problems with technology or you don't have technology, there are the assignments are available paper-wise. You guys can just go up to Eaton. There should be some instruction coming out on that one on how you can pick up paper versions. This is the main thing that you need to know throughout all of this, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure that I can say this for all of your teachers. If there is anything that you're having a problem with, if it's getting assignments or figuring out some things or something along those lines, any problems that you have, you've got to use this time to become an advocate for yourself. That means emailing me, meeting me on Zoom, doing those types of things. Please let me know if there's something that you're having trouble with, so that I can help you, okay? Again, it's a learning curve for all of us, so we'll get this figured out, but I need to have the communication with you. By the way, speaking of communication, don't be surprised if sometime this week you don't get a little phone call from Herr Cox. I just want to check in on you. I want to make sure that you're doing okay, and I want to make sure that if there's anything that you need that I'm finding out about that, okay? So kind of be prepared for that as well. But again, like I said, everything that you need for this lesson, you're going to find here in your Moodle page. Okay, so there's still that. Now, I want to show you guys really quick the lessons that I've put on there. I've tried to make this as simple as possible, so step by step, okay? So you'll see a lesson overview that's going to tell you what's in the parts. Notice that you have some links here that are already set for you. You can click on those and look at those, the teaks and that kind of stuff. But step one, this is always going to be the first thing that you do. More than likely, every time that you get on here, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to watch me. You're going to watch the video and kind of figure out what's going on in the lesson. Okay, you have your estimated completion times there and objectives for the week so that you know what's going on. Again, lesson 1 has 2 parts. That's why you're going to see that there. Okay, step 2, this is where you're going to get to do some practice. So after you're done with the video, this is where you're going to go and do some practice. Quizlet, you're going to get on Quizlet. You're actually going to go through the flashcards and stuff like that. For your grammar lesson, that's where you're going to maybe have some, again, you've watched the instructions from me. You're going to have some practice on Moodle and things like that. So you'll see all of that kind of stuff right there. Okay. If you have any questions on that, of course, again, make sure that I know about that. And then step 3, this is the big one that everybody wants to know. What do I have to do in order to get my grade? So step 3, this is where you're actually going to take what you've learned and what I taught you through the video and things like that, and you're going to complete your assignments, okay? So for instance, for this lesson, there are 2 assignments that you're going to turn in. And remember, for you guys, these are both going to be due online, or be done online, I should say. Remember, on Quizlet, when you take the quiz, I can see it on my end, okay? So there's nothing that you have to submit. For part 2, this is where you're going to take the Moodle quiz, okay? And remember, for this one, what you're going to do there is you'll take it online. Remember, at least 70% pre-AP. Remember, you're bumped up to at least 80%, okay, on that quiz. It's my dog barking in the back, so that's going to happen sometimes, but I have the door closed. So anyways, so your assignments will be submitted online. Again, if you run into any problems with that, please feel free to send me an email or come and meet me on Zoom, and I'll be glad to help you out with that at all. Okay? Now, next week, what's going to happen is lesson 1 is going to be moved down, and lesson 2 will be at the top. Okay? So this is going to be kind of an evolving type of lesson plan. Okay? But again, if you have any questions, let me know. All right, so let's get down to what's called brass tacks, and let's talk a little bit about what you're going to be doing this week. Okay, notice that you will be familiarizing yourself with some vocabulary from Quizlet, talking about advantages and disadvantages of living in the city and the country. Okay, so this is what's called Stadt oder Land, living in the country or living in the city. Okay, and notice that you're going to be doing some stuff with comparatives and some German conjunctions and things like that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. So let me move on to my other camera. All right, so I've moved to the other camera, so let's do some discussion on this one here real quick. All right, so the comparative forms of adjectives. Now remember that in German and also in English, when we're describing something, we use an adjective. Okay, today we're going to talk about 2 types of forms. One is called the positive and one is called the comparative. Okay, now the positive form is just the basic form of an adjective, like pretty, nice, bad, loud, those types of things. Okay, so again, such as larger, cleaner, and more beautiful are called comparatives, though, and that's why I'm going to take 2 things and I'm going to compare one thing to another. Now in English, we're used to using the ER. Okay, so big to bigger, nice to nicer, those types of things. And if you look, it's almost the exact same thing in English, or in German, excuse me. So for instance, die Wohnungen sind billig, the apartments are cheap. Die Wohnungen hier sind billiger, the apartments here are cheaper. Okay, so notice that there's the ER. Okay, die Umgebung ist schön, the surroundings are beautiful. Die Umgebung hier ist aber schöner. The surroundings here, though, are more beautiful. Okay, now I wouldn't say beautifuler, but I would say more beautiful. Okay, now in German, most, notice most, this means that this is a rule of thumb. Okay, 80 to 85% of the time is correct. 1 syllable adjectives with a stem vowel a or u. 1 syllable. Okay, notice that they add an umlaut. So alt becomes älter, old to older. Groß becomes größer, so big becomes bigger, and jung becomes younger. Okay, young becomes younger. All right. Also, just as in English, in German we have some comparatives where they don't really look like the same thing. Okay, so think about like good. Good does not become gooder. Good becomes better, and you'll see that it's reflected right here. Gut becomes besser. All right, same thing. We have viel, which means a lot, and mehr, which means more. So you don't have a lotter things, you have more things. Now this one right here, some people get confused on. Gern means to like something, okay? So I like this, but I like this more. Well, how do we do it in German? We use the word lieber. It means to prefer. So I like this, but I prefer that, okay? Now, 2 things you need to know. When we're talking and using comparatives, if you are comparing 2 things as equal, okay, you're going to use the 2-word phrase so and wie. Die Luft hier ist so schlecht wie in der Großstadt. The air here is just as bad as in the big city. Okay, but if you are comparing 2 things that are unequal, you want to compare one thing to another that's unequal, okay, you're going to use the word als, just one word. Die Luft hier ist, die Luft ist hier schlechter als in der Großstadt. The air here is worse, or is badder, if you want to say that, is worse than in the big city. Okay, if you have any questions, my time is almost up, but if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email or I will see you on Zoom. But for now, that's it. If you have any questions, again, I'll be in contact. We'll get there. We've got this, guys. All right? Until I see you next week or until I see you on Zoom, tschüss.